Season 1 of The Mandalorian introduces the titular bounty hunter whose real name is Dingerin, but often goes by the nickname Mando. As a child, Mando was rescued and taken in by the Mandalorians, a group of humans from the planet Mandalore who lived by a strict creed, which they called the Way. Mando follows all of his tribe's strict beliefs, including never taking his helmet off in front of others. As an adult, Mando now works as a member of the Bounty Hunters Guild on the planet Navarro. Led by a man named Grief Cargo, Mando's latest bounty assigns him to retrieving an asset for a mysterious client with ties to the evil-defeated Galactic Empire. Upon retrieving the asset, Mando discovers that his target is actually a Force-sensitive child from the same species as the infamous Jedi Master Yoda. Realizing that this innocent child would be in grave danger if delivered to the client, whose associate, Dr. Pershing, plans to conduct dangerous experiments on the captive, Mando refuses to hand him over. This leads to Mando being confronted by the client's army of stormtroopers and Grief Cargo's team of bounty hunters. Fortunately, a group of Mandalorians arrive to help Mando in his fight, allowing him to escape with the child. The Mandalorian travels the galaxy in his ship, the Razor Crest, in search of a home for the child. Along the way, he also grows reluctantly close to his new companion. Along their journey, Mando and the child encounter an oppressed vapor farmer named Queel, a bounty hunting droid named IG-11, an ex-shock trooper turned mercenary named Cara Dune, an eccentric tattooing mechanic named Peli Motto, a double-crossing sharpshooter named Mayfield, and an assassin named Finn Shand, who is shot and left for dead by an aspiring bounty hunter. Eventually, Grief Karga reaches out to Mando for help. The client, stormtroopers, have overrun his town. If Mando returns to Navarro to help defeat the stormtroopers, Grief would call off the bounty hunter's pursuit of the child. And so Mando returns to Navarro with the child, but not without some of the new friends he's made along the way. Fearing Grief was leading him into a trap, Mando has Cara Queel and IG-11 come along as backup. And Mando is right to be suspicious, as the group is attacked upon their arrival. When Grief is injured in the attack, the child uses his force powers to heal him, earning the bounty hunter leader's loyalty. Mando's team are then attacked by the client's boss, Moff Gideon, who opens fire on the building, killing the client and demanding he be given the child. Two scout troopers murder Quill and abduct the child, but IG-11 manages to kill them and save the infant, then self-destructs to save the others. Mando and his team also meet up with the Mandalorian armorer, who gives Mando a new jetpack and urges him to take the child to the Jedi. As Moff Gideon attacks the remaining group and a TIE fighter, Mando uses his new jetpack to destroy the craft and save his friends. Moff Gideon survives the attack, emerging from the wreckage wielding the powerful Mandalorian Darksaber, with the Imperials on Navarro defeated Grief. Cargo reassumes control. Cara Dune now by his side, the Mandalorian declines. Grief's offer to return to the Bounty Hunters Guild, instead deciding to leave with the child in search of the Jedi. In Season 2 of The Mandalorian, Mando and the child begin searching for other Mandalorians in the hopes that they can help direct them to a surviving Jedi. The Deuce journey leads them back to Tatooine, where a marshal named Cobb Vanth uses Mandalorian armor, once belonging to the infamous bounty hunter Boba Fett, to protect his small town. Vanth makes a deal with Mando to give him the armor in exchange for helping to kill a crate dragon terrorizing the town. Once the mission is complete, Mando and the child head to the moon, Trask, where they meet three Mandalorians, Bo-Katan, Casca, and Andax. Bo-Katan and her allies all freely remove their helmets, going against Mando's strict code. Bo-Katan explains that Mando was actually taken in and raised by a tribe known as the Children of the Watch, who were actually zealots that adhered to ways uncommon from mainstream Mandalorian society. This rocks Mando's beliefs, but he nonetheless joins their mission to steal Imperial weapons to aid in their fight to reconquer Mandalore. In return, Bo-Katan tells Mando where he can find a Jedi named Ahsoka Tano. Upon meeting Ahsoka on the planet Corvus, the Jedi uses her Force powers to learn more about the child. She explains that the child's name is Grogu, and that despite his young appearance, he had actually begun his Jedi training before the rise of the Empire. Ahsoka refuses to train Grogu, fearing his growing connection to the Mandalorian could lead to a dangerous corruption. Instead, Ahsoka gives Mando a new Beskar spear and tells him to take the child to an ancient temple on the planet Python so that Grogu could use the Force to find more Jedi. When Mando and Grogu reach the temple, they are confronted by the bounty hunter Boba Fett and his new companion, the cybernetically healed assassin Fennec Shand. Mando agrees to give Boba Fett his armor back in exchange for the duo helping to protect Grogu. As Grogu uses the Force to call out to the other Jedi, the group are attacked by Moff Gideon's Dark Troopers. Gideon destroys Mando's ship. The Razor Crest and the Dark Troopers manage to capture Grogu. Boba Fett and Fennec uphold their promise to Mando, agreeing to help rescue the child. Mando busts his old foe Mayfield out of prison to assist in locating Moff Gideon and the captured Grogu. While accompanying Mayfield into an Imperial base to acquire Gideon's coordinates, Mando is forced to remove his helmet in front of others for the first time since taking the Mandalorian oath, proving his love and devotion to Grogu. After discovering Moff Gideon's location, the Mandalorian assembles a team to pull off Grogu's rescue mission. Cara Dune, Boba Fett, and Fennec Shand all agreed to join Mando's cause. Bo-Katan and Casca also agreed to help rescue Grogu in exchange for Mando allowing Bo-Katan to claim Moff Gideon's stolen Mandalorian darksaber. After crash landing on Gideon's Imperial ship, Mando and the villain fight with Mando using his Beskar spear and Gideon using the darksaber. Ultimately, Mando defeats Gideon and rescues Grogu. As the team converge in the ship's bridge, Gideon tries to goad Bo-Katan into fighting Mando, as the darksaber can only be claimed by defeating its owner in a trial by combat. Bo-Katan resists the temptation to fight for the darksaber, but remains resolved to wield it one day and use it to reclaim Mandalore. As Gideon's army of Dark Troopers begin to overpower the heroes on the bridge, they are saved by the Jedi Luke Skywalker, who had been contacted by Grogu at the temple. Mando removes his helmet to bid an emotional goodbye to Grogu, who then leaves to begin his training with Luke. And while that's everything that's happened on The Mandalorian so far, it's not quite everything you need to know before Season 3, as the story of Mando and Grogu continues in the Book of Boba Fett. With their obligations to the Mandalorian completed, Boba Fett and Finn Shun return to Tatooine, where Fett begins his battle to take over the territory's criminal empire. Meanwhile, Mando finds the hideout of surviving Mandalorians, Pav Vizsla and the Armorer. Mando has the Armorer turn his Beskar spear into chainmail as a gift for Grogu. Vizsla then challenges Mando to a duel to claim the darksaber, as the wielder would be named ruler of Mandalore. Mando defeats Vizsla, but upon confessing that he revealed his face to Grogu, the Armorer kicks him out of their tribe. Mando then returns to Tatooine, where Palomado gives him a new starfighter to replace his destroyed Razor Crest. Mando then delivers his chainmail gift to Grogu, and the child is presented with a choice: take the gift and return to Mando, or take Master Yoda's lightsaber and be trained as a Jedi. Grogu rejects the lightsaber and reunites with a Mandalorian on Tatooine to help in Boba Fett's fight against a villainous group known as the Pikes. For control of Tatooine, Mando enlists the help of his old friend Cobb Vanth. Unfortunately, Vance is gunned down and left for dead by hired gun C.A.D. Bane. Fortunately, Vance survives the attack and is placed in Boba Fett's back-to-tank to recover. Despite Cobb Vance's defeat Boba Fett, the Mandalorian and their allies are able to kill Cad Bane and defeat the villainous Pikes. As Boba Fett and Phoenix Chand claim control of the area, the newly reunited Mandalorian and Grogu depart Tatooine for their next adventure.